Welcome into Jungle Tales as we're talking East Carolina Pirate baseball for the next half hour or so as we get you ready for the big weekend series against number 24 Coastal Carolina. Again, you're watching Jungle Tales, a Pirate baseball podcast, and this is This Week in Pirate Baseball as we recap the week that was. The Pirates taking down Old Dominion 8-2 and then taking 2 out of 3 in last weekend's Clark-LeClair Classic after falling to Kent State, a game in which the Pirates led 4-1 in the late innings but lost 7-6. The Pirates bounced back in a big way, winning against Indiana State 13-1 in 7 innings on Saturday, and then 6-1 against the Virginia Tech Hokies, silencing those potent Hokie bats on Sunday afternoon at Clark-LeClair Stadium, capping a 7-game and 9-day stretch for ECU in a very successful way. You had what is a very talented but largely inexperienced team, overcoming the adversity of an 0-4 week, but also after being unable to hold that 4-1 late inning lead in Friday's 7-6 loss to Kent State, in which the Golden Flashes scored 6 runs in the 7th inning via a pair of 3-run bombs. You bounced back and won the weekend, which was certainly something to be proud of. On Wednesday, the Pirates jumped out on Old Dominion, right out of the gates, scoring 4 in the first inning, 3 of which came on an Austin Irby home run to right field. Jaden Winter, saw his first action of the year as he got the start. And I thought overall Jaden pitched pretty well. Since it was announced that it would be a staff day for the Pirates, Jaden Winter was eligible for the win, and he earned that victory, allowing 1 run on 3 hits and 2 2/3 innings of work, striking out 2 and walking 1. Ian White Jr. and Lance Williams, as well as Ethan Young, all pitched in relief for the Pirates, and Ethan Young earned the save with another very solid 3 1/3 innings of shutout relief. Braxton Trammell actually got a start in left field, and he did strike out on 3 pitches in his first AB, but I love what Cliff Godwin and Jeff Palumbo did in his second at bat. The situation dictated it, and Braxton laid down a safety squeeze to allow the Pirates to get a run back and make it a 5-1 lead at that juncture in the game. The Pirates scored a couple runs on wild pitches in the 7th inning, and Dixon Williams hit his 3rd home run of the season in the 8th inning as East Carolina put away the Monarchs and went on to the 8-2 midweek win. Transitioning to the weekend, 9 runs on the weekend for East Carolina opponents, and 6 of those, unfortunately, came in that 7th inning of Friday's 7-6 loss to Kent State. It was really a shame that the Pirates were unable to capitalize on what was another very solid start by Ethan Norby. The sophomore lefty went 6 2/3 and allowed 3 runs on 4 hits, striking out 9 and walking just 1. 2 of those 3 runs were runners that Brad Pruitt inherited before surrendering the 3-run homer as he hung a breaking ball on a 1-2 count to Alejandro Covas, and he deposited it deep into the left field jungle. Then, following a couple of Golden Flash singles, freshman Gabe Beschloss allowed a 3-run shot to left center field by Jake Casey, son of Cincinnati Reds great Sean Casey. And Jake Hunter threw up a couple of zeros late in the game to give East Carolina a chance to pull off the comeback. He did surrender 3 hits, but he also struck out 3 and did not issue a walk. The Pirates had opportunities, as I mentioned, to win it late, but could not manage to get that clutch hit. They pushed across 2 runs in the 7th before straining 2. Then, after going quietly in the 8th inning, ECU loaded the bases with 1 out in the 9th before John Collins grounded into a 6-4-3 double play to end the ball game. Alex Peltier, Dixon Williams, and Colby Wallace went a combined 7 for 11 in the game, so that top of the order really produced. Peltier produced the 2nd 3-hit game of his young Pirate career. So, then the question was, how would ECU handle that disappointment of the 7-6 loss to Kent State? Well, the Pirates came out on Saturday and followed a scoreless first, or following a scoreless first, I should say, and were able to capitalize on some free passes, manufacture single runs in the 2nd and 3rd innings before hanging a 6th spot on the Sycamores in the fourth. And as you might guess, the inning had a little bit of everything with a few free passes, a couple of singles, a sac fly by Austin Irby, and a 2-run homer by John Collins. Indiana State was unfortunately able to avoid the shutout by pushing across one in the sixth, but the Pirates responded with a pair in the bottom of the frame and then ended the game in the seventh via run rule when Austin Irby delivered a 3-run no-doubter to right field. Sean Jenkins, Sean was very sharp. He had much better command early than he had against George Mason in North Carolina, particularly that start against the Tar Heels. He threw up a couple of zeros and was really rolling and never looked back on Saturday afternoon. And as a result, congratulations to Sean Jenkins. He is our PGXGloves.com Pitcher of the Week, picking up the first win of his young ECU career. Again, 6 innings, 1 run on 4 hits, 6 strikeouts, no walks on 86 pitches for the 17-year-old right-hander. Freshman lefty Gabe Beschloss saw action for a second straight day and put up a 0 in the 7th inning. On Sunday, the Pirates put forth a well-rounded performance against Virginia Tech. The Hokies entered the game with an 8-2 record and were hitting, something like 350, 360 as a team. But the Pirates' talented pitching staff was able to shut down VT. And it was a cold day for baseball, temps in the low to mid 40s at first pitch. And by the time the game was over, I think it was, pushing 7 o'clock. The temps were in the upper 30s and the wind chill even lower. But certainly not a day for offense. Each team struck out 13 times, but ECU was able to do enough offensively to pick up the 6-1 win. Lance Williams, Ethan Young, and Brad Pruitt pitched for ECU. On the way to Sunday's game, I was chatting with Matt Semenza, former East Carolina linebacker from up in Middletown, Connecticut, and he was asking me who I thought we would start since it was TBA, and I said, just looking at things and who's pitched this week, I said, I think you'll see one of these 3 guys start the game, and then whichever does not start, I think those other 2 you'll certainly see in relief, depending on the success of the others. And that ended up being the case, and those 3 being Lance Williams, Ethan Young, and Brad Pruitt. Lance Williams went 2 1/3 shutout innings, allowing 2 hits, striking out 1 and walking 2 as he threw 47 pitches to record those 7 outs. Unfortunately, he left the game with 1 out in the top of the 3rd inning due to some forearm tightness, apparently, and precautionary measures being taken. And we await word, and we'll see how quickly Lance is able to get back on the bump for the Pirates. Ethan Young went 3 1/3, allowing 1 run on 2 hits, striking out 6 and walking 4. So his command wasn't quite as good as it had been in those last 3 outings. Struggled a little bit at times to find the zone, but was able to navigate around it. And obviously 6 strikeouts, served him well. And another quality outing for the junior college transfer Ethan Young out of Catawba Valley Community College. Brad Pruitt, Prue earned the save, the first save of his East Carolina career with 3 1/3 shutout innings. He surrendered just 1 hit and struck out 6 while allowing just a single free pass. Offensively, as I mentioned, it was a tough day against some very good Virginia Tech arms. While the Pirates did strike out 13 times, they broke the ice in the 5th inning. You had Alex Boucher. He produced, guess what was his 3rd home run of his ECU career, a 2-run shot to left field, a real moonshot. It was funny. A young man down to my right was wearing a Bobby Boucher Mississippi Mud Dogs jersey over his East Carolina hoodie. But, Alex put the Pirates up 2-0, and then the Hokies struck back in the top of the 6th. That 6th inning was a real turning point. Virginia Tech, as I mentioned, got 1 back on a 2-out single. But Brad Pruitt, after inheriting a bases-loaded jam, with those 2 down in the inning, was able to get a line out to Dixon Williams to escape the threat. And ECU walked 3 batters in the frame, but was managed to give up just that single run and that was huge, allowing the Pirates to retain a 2-1 lead and then go on to a 6-1 victory. The Pirates responded in that sixth inning with a run, and then largely put it on ice in the bottom of the eighth, scoring 3 runs. And they opened the inning with 3 consecutive hits. Austin Irby and Michael Kalinic had singles, and Braden Burris produced a 2-run double to the right center field gap that allowed ECU to take that 6-1 lead, and that's where the game would finish up. Taking a look at the week as a whole, Dixon Williams, Dixon, what a tremendous week he and Austin Irby both had at the plate. Dixon was our PGXGloves.com player of the week. And it took a tremendous week to edge out Austin Irby. We'll go over Austin and his numbers in a moment. But Dixon Williams, congratulations to him again on being the PGXGloves.com player of the week. Dixon 8 for 12, a home run, 3 runs batted in, 4 walks, 7 runs scored. He stole a couple of bases, laid down a sac bunt, and obviously reached base in 12 out of his 16 plate appearances. So congratulations to Dixon Williams. But also wanted to touch on the production of Austin Irby. Austin went 5 for 9 with 2 bombs, 7 runs batted in, 6 walks, 6 runs scored. Obviously, that meant that he reached base in 11 of his 15 plate appearances. So just tremendous weeks at the dish for Austin Irby, the Pirates' first baseman, and Dixon Williams, who's East Carolina's second baseman, also, of course, plays a little third, and then outfield as well. But last week, Mark Minicozzi and I, emphasized the free pass battle, if you will, and how that really hurt ECU against North Carolina. Well, there's certainly still plenty of room for improvement, but the Pirates pitching staff was much better in that regard against ODU and throughout the Keith-LeClair Classic. Against Campbell and North Carolina, the Pirates have struck out 33 and issued 30 free passes. Obviously, essentially a 1-to-1 ratio there in terms of strikeout to free passes. And then last week, ECU struck out 39 while issuing 18 free passes, so a little over 2-to-1. So significant improvement, certainly plenty of more room for improvement there, but a big step in the right direction for the ECU pitching staff. And the Pirates were able to turn the tables on the opposition. The previous week, North Carolina and Campbell were about 3-to-1, while ECU was 1-to-1. And then last week, again, the opposition was 1-to-1, while the Pirates were a little greater than 2-to-1 in that free pass battle. But as we look ahead, East Carolina is hosting 24th ranked Coastal Carolina. The Chanticleers are off to a 10-3 start this weekend. This is a series that the Pirate Nation, and I'm sure the Chanticleer fans, have both wanted for quite some time now. So it's nice to see that it's finally become a reality. ECU will travel to Conway in 2026. And then after that, who knows? It remains to be seen. Maybe it will become an annual thing like the traveling series between the Pirates and the North Carolina Tar Heels. It matches up what are top 25 programs annually. And, of course, the programs are just a few hours apart. Both have beautiful ballparks, and it's just great for college baseball in general and specifically within this region. The Chanticleers, as I mentioned, are off to that 10-3 start under first-year head coach Kevin Schnall. Coach Schnall had played for Coastal Carolina from 95 to 99 and then been a long-time Gary Gilmore assistant, sandwiched around 3 years that he spent down in Orlando as an assistant at UCF. The Chanticleers have played a very challenging schedule to date. They won a couple on opening weekend against Kansas State, and 2 of their 3 losses came in the midweek as they fell 15-5 in 8 innings to College of Charleston, and then 5-4 in 11 innings to 4th-ranked North Carolina this week. Their only other loss came down in Jacksonville, Florida, in a classic tournament format, a round-robin format, if you will, against the Alabama Crimson Tide, falling 9-2. They responded to that loss to the Crimson Tide, however, with wins over Ohio State and NC State, a midweek win over UNCW, and a sweep of Big Ten foe Rutgers prior to that loss on Tuesday at North Carolina. A week or so ago, I was talking to a head coach of a team that had played the Chanticleers in a single game earlier this season, and he had this to say: solid club. He said Bodine is by far their best player, but they're, as a team, not quite as twitchy from a run game standpoint as they've been in the past, but solid all the way around. Carbone out of their bullpens, very good, but they have some, in his opinion, average arms in the middle to back end of their bullpen, and they were fundamentally sound, as you would always expect the Coastal Carolina team to be. And as a team, the Chanticleers are hitting .294 with 12 bombs and 26 doubles. They have 6 players with at least 22 at-bats that are hitting at least .333 as they enter the weekend against East Carolina. And to that coach's point, Coastal has swiped just 10 bases through the first 13 games, which is abnormally low for a Chanticleer team. Also of note, former ECU player Colby Thorndike has been a regular starter at first base, and he's hitting .333 with 4 doubles and 9 runs batted in for the Chants. By comparison, East Carolina is hitting .245 as a team with 16 bombs. However, the Pirates have just 12 doubles in 12 games. Last year, East Carolina had roughly 1.6 doubles per game, and in 2023, ECU averaged 2 doubles per game. So a significant decrease there through the first 12 games, here in 2025. So that's an area that the Pirates will need to continue to see improvement, and an area the Chanticleers seem to have a clear-cut advantage entering this weekend. We'll see how things unfold at Lewis Field at Clark-LeClair Stadium, and the kind of transitioning here and shifting over and taking a look at things from a pitching and defense perspective. And the Chants have a very solid 3.23 team ERA, and opponents are hitting just $1.94 against Coastal Carolina pitching. They've struck out 104 and 103 innings, while issuing 76 free passes, 58 of those being walks, with 18 hit batters. Coming into the weekend, you certainly thought you would see Cullen McKay on Friday night, but the UVA transfer, for whatever reason, be it injury or otherwise, will not pitch. McKay, he has a 1-1 record. He had a solid performance his last time out against Rutgers, allowing just 4 hits over 6 shutout innings, during which he struck out 5, throwing 86 pitches to record those 18 outs. However, per the official Coastal Baseball X account on Thursday night, the rotation will not include Cullen McKay, but will rather feature freshman righty, 5'10", 185-pound Luke Jones out of Greenville, South Carolina. Jones has worked just 3 innings across 3 relief appearances, having struck out 2 while issuing 5 free passes. On Saturday, as expected, it will be Cameron Fluke. Fluke, a 6'6", 210-pound sophomore righty out of New Jersey. Fluke allowed 4 runs, all earned on 6 hits and 3 1/3 against Rutgers last weekend. Overall, he has worked 12 1/3 across 3 starts, and he is yet to be the pitcher of record while having a 6.57 ERA. On Sunday, the Pirates are slated to see redshirt senior 5'10" righty Riley Eichhoff. Eichhoff has a 3-0 record and a very gaudy 1.83 earned run average, having allowed just 12 hits in 19 2/3 innings across his 3 starts, which came against the Washington Huskies, NC State, and Rutgers. In that start against Washington on opening weekend, he needed just 70 pitches to navigate through those 7 innings. Lynch and Carbone have been 2 of their better arms out of the bullpen. Some other names you will likely see this weekend are Scott Duran, Hayden Johnson. They each have 4 appearances out of the pen. Jacob Morrison, he's been their midweek starter. So you will likely not see him, but you never know. Hudson Lance is someone that's had a couple of appearances, allowing just one hit. So Matthew Potok, you may see him as well, but it remains to be seen exactly, of course, which arms ECU will see, but there appears to be a decent number of options for Kevin Schnall and the Chanticleers out of that pen. But should the Pirates be able to get the starters out of the game early and tax the Shots bullpen, it will be interesting to see how the pen is able to hold up, as it is thought to be, fairly average or thereabouts, by an opposing coach that faced Coastal Carolina earlier this season. But taking a look at the weekend, it's certainly going to be a very intriguing weekend of baseball at Clark-LeClair. If ECU is able to pick up a series win, it would certainly carry a lot of weight. Should Coastal Carolina have the solid season that they're expected to have, of course, that's always subject to change. But right now, again, the Chanticleers are ranked 24th by D1 Baseball, and it would undoubtedly, be a very, very solid victory and mark on East Carolina's resume moving forward. First pitch is scheduled for 4 p.m. on Friday, 2 p.m. on Saturday, and 1 p.m. in the series finale on Sunday afternoon. But, that will do it for this edition of This Week in Pirate Baseball. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Join us on Sunday night as we'll take a look back at the 11-8 midweek win over the Gardner-Webb Running Bulldogs down at Segra Stadium in Fayetteville, and then also the series with the 24th ranked Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. Be sure to follow us on social media on X and as well as Instagram. Like you see there scrolling on the bottom of our screen for our YouTube and Facebook viewers, we can be found at Jungle Tales Pod, and then you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, as well, as Facebook by simply searching Jungle Tales Pod and ECU Baseball Podcast. Be sure to support the 23 Club. Of course, the 23 Club is the NIL collective for East Carolina baseball. Shout out to Mike Harrington and all the former players that are involved with running that organization, which is a branch of Team Boneyard. You can go to 23club.org to support ECU baseball today as the Pirates work to offset that gap. Of course, you're still working with 11.7 scholarships. We will see whether it's 20 or however many in the future. The limit is expected to be 34, but nobody really knows. But if you give to the 23 Club via going to 23club.org and donate your $23 a month or whatever amount you're able to comfortably give and support ECU baseball, I know it is certainly greatly appreciated by Cliff Godwin and that coaching staff, as well as all the loyal Pirate fans who give to the cause. But, that will do it for this edition of the show. We appreciate everyone tuning in. And as always, go Pirates.